What is up, my fellow hackers? Welcome back to the Get Your Goat Golf podcast, the only podcast where you take an average Joe golfer and you get tips, tricks, and some questionable advice that helps you hit those big drives, get birdies, and maybe, just maybe, avoid breaking a club or two. Now today, we're here to talk about a big topic in golf, and that is golf fitness. That's right. We're going to be asking the big question. Should I go get jacked or should I just stay comfy in the cart? Now, my name is Jake and I am your subpar golfer. And as you know, when I say subpar, I don't mean that in the good way. And I'm here to ask you, have you ever hit a drive so bad that it seemed like your back threw in the towel mid-swing? Well, then this podcast is for you. We're talking about lifting, flexibility, and how to make sure you're not huffing and puffing by the time you get to hole 6. So, I know you might be asking, fitness and golf? So here's the thing. Golf and fitness, most people hear that and think, nah, I'm good. All I need is a cart and a free hand to help me crack open that cold one on the back 9. Now, honestly, I used to be that guy. I lifted heavy. I knew my way around the gym. I wasn't completely out of shape. But when it came to, say, stretching, if I had to reach down and tie my shoes mid-round, my hamstrings might just say, nah, bro, we got you. So, was not really my forte, stretching, things like that. And then flexibility. Flexibility, might even be able to see that was my kryptonite. I was out there benching like a beast, but if you asked me to get a good shoulder turn on my swing, wasn't happening. My swing or my backswing looked about as smooth as a 26-wheel semi-truck trying to do a U-turn in the middle of a one-way highway. It wasn't smooth at all. Now, let's be real. How many times have you been out on the course, feeling great, you got your swing dialed in, and then you go for one of those heroic drives, and then bam, your body's like, hey, babe, maybe we should save that one there for the pros. Fitness matters, people, and whether you think it matters in golf or not, that's just how it is. Now, when I first decided taking fitness kind of as an important matter, as far as it goes to golf, really happened at the beginning of the season this year. Now, I had come up with this great idea that I was going to record all my par 3s, just in case I got a hole in one, I wanted to have it recorded. Let's just say that hasn't even come close. But I would also, every now and then, record some of my drives, things like that. And then it was when I would watch the actual video of me swinging, and I'd look at myself thinking, what the heck is going on there? It really legitimately looked like I was only going about a half a swing, but I wasn't. That was my full swing, and it felt like a full swing. And the reason that it felt like a full swing was because I was going back as far as I could go. I just didn't realize it that my flexibility just wasn't there. And so that's when I realized that, especially when I'd watch videos of some of the professionals and how far their backswing was going compared to mine. And I had to think that, God, that has to make a huge, huge difference, being able to have a little bit more flexibility. So that's what I did. I completely transformed my whole game and decided that I was going to start working on golf-related exercises, and my whole routine was going to be that. So I guess if I was to lay it out for you, like I said, I've been in the gym for years. Squats, deadlifts, curls, bench press, the whole get huge starter pack. And don't get me wrong, strength does help. It's definitely going to help your swing. It doesn't hurt your swing. But the kicker is, like I said, I was a brick wall when it came to rotating my body. My swing looked like I was really fighting off a bear mid-back swing. So one of the first things I started to do was working on flexibility. And yeah, me, the guy that once thought that stretching was what you did the morning after a night of partying where you were hungover after a bad night. Turns out that flexibility goes a long way in golf. Now, touching my toes and hitting long drives, just like Rory, well, almost like Rory. But, when I started working on this journey, this flexibility journey, uh, I didn't realize how important it was. Like I said, when I don't think there was a single exercise that I did that worked on flexibility prior to this. And so I really, like I said, I changed my whole routine. It used to be, Monday was chest day, Tuesday was arms, Wednesdays was back, Thursdays was shoulders, Fridays were legs, and then repeat the whole cycle. That used to be my workout routine. And that's really not golf specific at all. What it ends up happening is you end up being very tight. You have not very much flexibility at all, which prevents you from having that backswing. I can remember people saying, because I'm a big guy, I'm 6'2", probably 230. I can remember people saying, "What a big guy," but how little of a swing that I had, and I was still hitting it a long way. So, I mean, I was under the impression, I remember actually a couple years ago when Bryson DeChambeau became big, and one of the things that he got so famous where I started hearing of him was because he had started really lifting weights and wanting to put on weight and gather strength, and so he can hit these bomb drives, and he did. I mean, he gotten up to, from I want to say 205 to 215, up to like 240. And he was hitting 400-yard drives, and he was winning tournaments, and he was all the rage. But even now, he's cut back down to probably 220, 225, and he's kind of said that that wasn't the actual right approach. That you can still swing hard and get there to what he was trying to accomplish without having to sacrifice the flexibility and gain all the weight. So what I end up changing my routine to, now I do only really 3 days of lifting. I do where on Mondays I do a leg routine. On Wednesdays I do a push routine, and when I say push routine, we're talking about things like some type of bench press, some type of shoulders, triceps. Things like that where you're actually pushing or pressing. And then on Fridays, I will do a pull routine. And when I'm talking pull routine, we're talking about things like biceps, back, curls, pull-ups, rows, things like that. Exercises where you're pulling the weight. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I would do some type of cardio. Usually the cardio involved going to my local YMCA, and I would do maybe half hour, 45 minutes, elevated on a treadmill. Various different angles, but I'd get it to where I was at a high incline, and that's quite a workout. And I would finish the Tuesdays and Thursdays after I would do the 30 to 45 minutes. Then I would do a golf-specific stretching routine on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Now, I would also do some type of stretching and yoga on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I would do it maybe before bed or whenever I could fit it in. And then on Saturdays and Sundays, on Saturdays, if I didn't go golfing, I would do another cardio routine / flexibility stretching routine. And on Sundays, same thing. If I didn't go golfing, I would do some type of HIIT type of workout where it was like box jumps, kettlebell swings, things like that, as well as a stretching routine. And of course, I also made it a routine that before I golf, I actually do some type of stretching routine. So, I mean, I really think it's helped my game. Now when I watch my swing, the backswing's still not where I would like it to be, but it's definitely a lot better than it was back in May. I don't watch it and think, oh, what is that? Where back in May, I mean, I was literally, I didn't recognize what that was. So I know there might be a lot of people that, they go to the golf course, they see a bunch of out of shape people. There's this, one of my favorite TikToks that I've seen is It's this bigger guy, and he's kind of talking. He's like, yeah, Karen, uh, I do love golf, and you know why I love golf? And it shoots to a picture of DJ Metcalf, who, if you don't know who DJ Metcalf is, he is this football player who's built like a Greek god. He's like 6'4", 240 pounds. He's absolutely ripped. Runs like a 4.3 40, has like a 40-inch vertical. And that's what the guy uses. He said, see this guy right here? That's DJ Metcalf. And he gives all the stats and things like that and says, I'll never be able to be like that. And then it shows a picture of Scotty Scheffler. And he says, you know who that is? That's the best golfer in the world. He looks just like a regular guy. And so when you hear something like that, and you think that, no, you don't actually have to do any type of specific workout for golf or anything like that. But I guess what people don't realize is that Scotty Scheffler actually does work out quite a bit. He is very into the flexibility, stretching, which I think if you actually did some research, you'd see that most of the top golfers are. So now, when I'm talking about golf fitness and specific type workouts, now that doesn't mean you have to go out and be like a gym rat or anything like that. I mean, there's plenty of simple things that you can do just to try to improve your swing and things like that. If I was to give you a couple of tips of what I would recommend, core. The core is a super important aspect. I mean, in any type of movement that you're doing, any sport, but especially golf, where you have so much rotation, core is probably one of the most important things you can work for. So what do I do for my core? I do a lot of planks, Russian twists, leg lifts, things like that. Just, you want to try to get that midsection as rock solid as possible. Tip 2 is, like I said earlier, flexibility. I mean, you don't have to go out there and be a yoga master by any means. You don't have to be able to go do the splits or anything like that. But if you can't rotate smoothly, you're really leaving a lot of yards out there on the table. And then the third thing I would say would be maybe some type of explosive movements. When I say explosive movements, I'm thinking like the box jumps, the kettlebell swings. You want to get those fast twitch muscles ready to explode to the ball. Now, I remember when I first started doing like kettlebells and incorporating those into my routine, I almost dropped one on my foot, which was going to be hard to explain to the wife that I got this injury working on my golf swing. But hey, the kettlebell swings work. So I guess if you take anything out of this, what do you think that we can say that we learned today? Golf fitness is not a joke. If you want to be able to go out there and crush it on the course, you got to do more than just carry your bag to the tee. You got to get strong, you got to get flexible, and you got to stop pretending that stretching is just for gymnasts. It's so important, such an overlooked aspect of golf. Like I said, I don't know how many times that I've gone out with guys, especially the first thing in the morning, especially on my annual summer golf trip, where everybody's drinking the night before, where people literally just get up, wake up, and go right to the golf course and start playing. And it's not a benefit to your game. I can tell you that. I feel so much better when I have some flexibility, when I get a good stretch in. Like I said, I can think of some times this year where, especially early in the year, where I would golf 18. I don't usually golf 18, like I said, unless I'm doing scrambles. Most of the time I golf 9. But when I would golf 18, especially early in the year, I can remember some rounds where, I was golfing well, and then all of a sudden I get to like hole 13, 14, and all of a sudden my swing just kind of goes to hell. And I can specifically remember one time where I was doing that. I was with my wife, and she says, "You look really tight. Do you feel tight?" And I didn't feel tight, but like I said, it was definitely something in my swing that I could tell. But then by the end of the round, it was like later on that evening, and especially the next day, where I was incredibly tight and incredibly sore in my back and my rotating muscles, where it was clear that is absolutely what the case was, that I'd gotten too tight, and that's what was affecting my swing. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of homework if you're listening to this. This week, I'm going to ask you, pick one thing. Stretch out those hamstrings and maybe do some planks. Go on a walk out in the course without the cart. Do something to improve your golf fitness and see what the benefits are. And then hit me up. Let me know how it goes, what you picked, what you thought of. Unless you pull something, of course. If you pull something and get injured, then don't blame me for that. I didn't tell you to do that. But also, if you're already doing some type of golf fitness or flexibility or stretching routine, leave a comment. Let me know what you're doing, things that I can improve on. Because, like I said, quite frankly, I think the golf specific workouts that I've been doing over the last 2.5 months have really helped. And even though that the golf season here in Michigan is starting to come to a close, I plan on keeping that same routine and incorporating it through the fall, through the winter. So by the time the golf season comes around early next spring, that it's not a new thing at that time, that hopefully that I've really worked on the flexibility and the stretching enough to where I can swing it as hard and as far back in the backswing as I wanted to do. Now, for our next episode, I'm thinking about talking about course management. Course management is something that I know I don't do very well at. I'm not usually one to see that short par 4 and not want to bring a driver out, even though that's not the best option. I'm not usually the one that wants to, punch it out safely from those trees. I always feel there's a little opening. I can get it through there, and I almost never get it through there. And I think course management, a lot of times, really goes into the mental aspect of the game. And if you go out there with an actual plan and actually try to manage that course the best possible way that you can, I think that's something else that can really help benefit your game. And so that's something I'm thinking about talking about next episode. That's right. No more just dripping and ripping. We're going to actually learn how to think our way around the golf course. Shocker. I know that's not really something that me as a subpar golfer does. So, thanks for hanging out with me here on Get Your Goat Golf. Don't forget to subscribe, drop a review, tell me how the stretches go. But until next time, get strong, stay flexible, and keep hitting bombs, baby. And like I said, if your swing's not working out very well, just swing harder. Thanks, everybody.